Good afternoon, everybody. This is a round 5 matchup in the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past spoiler tournament between SirLinkalot and SailorNep. I'm Mercer. I'm joined today by Neon Tiger on comms. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Mercer?
Pretty good. I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be a pretty good race. We've had a chance to look at the log a little bit, not quite as in depth as our runners who are going to look at it for a full 15. Pick out hard places, but I'm gonna be interested to see how they handle this seed and how they get to Ganon as quick as possible, because I don't know how I would do it.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see that as well. We got a very interesting seed here. It's going to be a lot of routing, I think, more so than anything else, based on what we've seen through the spoiler log. But we'll see. We'll see what decisions they go for here as we count down the last 45 seconds of study time.
Yeah, I'm actually not even completely sure where they'll go to start things off, so we'll see if they've reached the same conclusion as each other or if they end up going in different directions.
Yeah, so we're just about ready to get started here. Hello out there in Randerland. Hope you're having a good evening. Seeing some early predictions in the chat about where things are. I think some of you will be quite surprised. And I will leave it at that.
And we should be just about getting ready to go now. There it is. Let's both start in Link's house and both find the hammer right away.
Yep. Smart play here. And I think we're going to see both of them probably go ahead and looks like head up to the castle here.
And it looks like we may have a palette shuffle on SailorNep's side. Getting some nice cash as an inheritance from your dead uncle. But it doesn't look like that's the only reason they come up here, as they head into the escape sequence.
I think the fact that, of course, that we're getting the money this early means that we're going to see a probably a Zora play at some point here, because you're not going to route in 300 rupees unless you really need it for something. Or maybe they just need a bunch of cash for, say, making some purchases here. Either of them are possible options.
Yeah, it could just be that's the way to get bombs early and then bottle merchant. But we do find the boots there at the castle. Both our runners choosing to make a straight beeline for those.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing the same path here, and this is in my routing based on my notes here. So it's kind of the preferred path to take based on where the items were located. And dashing to the right, I think that means we're going to visit Bonk Rocks here, which must mean that there's something here. You wouldn't come here in a Plando if there wasn't not a Plando, but a spoiler log seed. And indeed, it is the Moon Pearl.
That's very required, so both of them grabbing it on the way to their first Kakariko trip. For those who may not have seen very many spoiler tournament races so far, our runners basically got text filed out 15 minutes before the race started on stream, saying where everything was, and then they had to figure out how to get there quickly. It's here. Some extra money fetching from SirLinkalot.
The fact that it's a double big 300 there probably makes the Zora intuition I had a little bit earlier seem a little more likely, because you're really going to need a lot of money for that, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to do it unless you're going to hula hand here. Maybe we'll see SailorNep do a hula hand to get the remainder of the money. It's certainly possible.
We see SailorNep grabbed a bottle with some red goo from the well. That leads to a bow and sick kid, and that seems to be the only real items of interest in Kakariko for Sailor Nap. And heading over towards the eastern area with that bow in hand. Now, you can see along the bottom of the tracker, if you're watching, neither of our runners is going to do a map check because they already know where everything is. So our tracker has pre-filled in crystals and pendants for you, and we do know that Eastern is our green pendant today. It is not one of our crystals.
Yes, indeed. So we're seeing Eastern Palace, the first dip here.
We do see SirLinkalot put some of that extra money to use to buy a full load of bombs versus Sailor Nap being on 2. And it does look like SirLinkalot not going in the eastern area, heading towards the dam.
Skipping that chest, of course, and oh, the thing that those are there to be soaked were the flippers.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much sense that makes, but, you know, it works.
Yeah, somebody was just taking a swim earlier and lost one of them. Got one boot and one flipper, so it's a little awkward when we're running.
And we have someone in chat asking if the ability to hover is a particularly big advantage in this format. I would say not really in like 95% of seeds, and it's an enormous advantage 5% of the time or so.
Yeah, it really depends, I think, on item placement more than anything else. And if you need to go, for example, if you have to go and complete, Argus for something, then you're going to need the hook shot. And really, at that point, hovering is kind of doesn't matter. And of course, there's a couple other glitches as well that, or techniques that it would be useful for. But I think that's a pretty good assessment. I think 95% of the time, it is going to be not really too useful. But SirLinkalot picking up that glove, indeed, Zora was the play to get a glove upgrade. We'll see if there's another one along the way. Maybe Sailor Nep is looking for.
Yeah, Eastern's slightly obnoxious to do when your only weapons are the bow and arrow. And SirLinkalot gonna head into Dark World as Sailor Nep gets the Book of Medora off of Armos Knights.
Nice. Well, that could actually be quite useful here, depending on when we find fire source to get us in Desert Palace, because it looks like haven't found the alternative way to get in yet. There's a sword in the Hype Cave.
Yeah, and that appears to be what SirLinkalot went to the Dark World there for. Green Pendant turn in gets a heart container, which you're not going to say no to when you're at 3. A little bit of extra money as well towards that required Zora donation. SirLinkalot heading into the village portal. And straight for Thieves Town.
Not a bad play.
SirLinkalot gonna need to be a little cautious here. The enemy is not really tuned for 5 hearts and green mail. They are kind of tuned for green mail, but not on 5 hearts. Yep, going to get those 300 rupees after all.
So this really does become a good question of where does everybody go do the things? And in what order?
Yeah, we did see the fire rod in the vanilla big key chest of Thieves Town. It actually makes Skullwoods clearable, although maybe not the most fun Mothula fight.
So this becomes very interesting about when everybody goes and gets the things. I'm just looking through my notes here, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers or anything, but there's actually quite a bit of variance just based on item locations and where things are. It's not going to be a straight connect by the numbers thing. We kind of have seen that so far, sir. We've seen that it's really not been paint by numbers. Go here, do this thing. Go here, do this thing. Where it's very, very linear. Obviously there's some locations where you have to have one item that goes somewhere, do something else. That's always the case, but there's a little bit of flexibility in when and where we'll see these runners go to.
Yeah, we do see SirLinkalot getting the cape ready. On 1 heart here, you don't really want to take a death. I mean, obviously you usually don't want to take a death unless you're death warping, but in the back of Thieves Town is a particularly obnoxious place to die. There are a few hearts on the way to Blind Cell that SirLinkalot can pick up. It does have a red potion that he could have burned, chose not to there. And gets back up to 3 hearts, so should be okay here. And it looks like Nep's gonna head towards the village as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar sort of play with Fire Rod sitting over here in Thieves Town. SirLinkalot grabbing the wall there to preserve magic with the cape while waiting for Blind's second phase to start. Probably will do the same, yeah, here. That's good game knowledge, and a good way to make this fight safe once the script slipped. About 13 minutes in, SirLinkalot gets the first crystal of this match.
Well, of course, it is blind, not a bit difficult fight.
I see chat asking how Nep got so far behind. The answer to that question depends on how required that book is. Might not be all that far behind because SirLinkalot will have to go do Eastern at some point if they need that book. I do think they're a little bit behind because of that extra trip to grab the 300 rupees, but I don't think it's a big difference. I do find the flute here in Skullwoods. SirLinkalot going around the long way through this room to get some health, and magic refills does get kind of bumped off there.
Indeed. So I think, yeah, looking at my kind of my notes here that I've made as far as the path I would take, it feels like SirLinkalot's a little bit closer to what my notes are. I also may have jumped the gun slightly on one of the dungeons that they would visit, but that's okay. You're seeing a Mothula fight here.
Mothula fight.
Yep.
No joke.
And this is a 5/6 crystal dungeon, so you have to come here anyways to do this fight. This is going to be a tough fight. No magic, having to do single fighter sword spins here. Not doing a lot of damage, but still doing all right.
It does have the option for the hammer going with the sword spins instead. Gets down to 1 heart, gonna burn that red potion.
Good call. Good call.
Really wishing it was blue.
Woo!
But there it goes.
And of course, that's why we went there in the first place. The hook shot showing up on Mothula. A difficult fight for a very big prize, a crystal and a necessary item. So that's going to be a big play there from SirLinkalot. While SirLinkalot is doing the blind fight that we saw a little bit earlier. It's really a big difference at this point is that Eastern Palace play for the book.
Yeah, Nip's blind fight a little bit better there. Stays on script, doesn't have to go to the cape or anything, so
yeah.
I think it ends up saving a few seconds.
Indeed. So yeah, one of the things to keep in mind too is that since this is a spoiler log tournament and everyone's kind of got their 15 minutes to study and plan, what you'll see a lot of, as SirLinkalot is going to awaken the bird, but you're going to see a lot of intentional plays here. There's not going to be, as it is normally in Rando, where there's just some checks based on your items. These two runners will know essentially where they're going, and their movements, they might have different strategies, but their movements are all going to be very, very intentional and very timed on where they go when they do it. So it'll be very interesting to see here. It looks like SirLinkalot can head over to Eastern Palace now. A little bit of extra gear, and when Sailor Nep went in there, so maybe have a slightly faster time through there by a couple seconds, but we'll see how it all shakes out. And we already know it's in there. Nice job on the timing there by Sailor Nep as well to know to kind of have an idea either from the audio cue or just from kind of being able to count and know when that wall master was going to drop. And now using the second wall master to teleport back to the start of the room, so I don't have to go back the long way.
Yeah, and we should have a pretty good idea once they're done with these. They will more or less have covered all of the ground that the other has covered. So at that point, we'll get a sense for who's ahead and by how much.
Right, I think it's going to be pretty close here. The Mothra fight might take a little bit longer. Oh, actually, a nice pickup there on the drop for Sailor, not getting a full refill on the magic just before this fight. So may end up having a quicker fight here. Going to use the hammer strat as well. Actually, not even going to use the fire rod. Just going to go straight hammer. Kind of like this for speed. And look how quick that was. Wow. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's a significant time save versus SirLinkalot's fight. Mothra didn't cooperate, but the hammer is also just much faster than the forward spins.
Also going to save a couple frames there on the refill after the boss fight as well, not having to wait for the magic to refill all the way. And I'll SirLinkalot taking care of Armos Knight to get that book. Yeah, I would say definitely Nep in the lead now. But no lead is safe here. Actually, you know what? Maybe one of the things to keep in mind too, SirLinkalot already has the bird. So I think probably we're pretty close to even at this point. Maybe SirLinkalot with a slight lead.
Heading to desert with the book in hand.
Right, so it looks like we're going to use the front entrance.
SirLinkalot not grabbing that heart container off the green pendant turn in, but has no use for the money at this point, so totally understandable.
And it looks like Nep is also heading to desert, so yeah, we will definitely have an idea of where they stand as far as how close this is. It'll be very slightly to SirLinkalot. And we were boots locked in Desert Palace about looks like about 20-second advantage here for SirLinkalot. 20-25 seconds.
Yeah, the boots locked for desert means a lot less when the Moon Pearl is also boots locked.
It's just more of a minor inconvenience. You got to go in and bonk off the wall to get that big key anyways, but we'll see both of them, looks like, head to the back and take care of Lamola's here to get that crystal. Which kind of, to me, signals Mercer that there's nothing else in the dungeon because they're just heading straight back, so I'm going to get this done as quick as possible. Or at least there's nothing in the rest of the dungeon, not in the chests.
We haven't seen any hint of the lamp yet, so that fire rod out of Thieves' Town also our access to the back here.
Ooh. And there is the progressive glove, the Titan Smith. Now, of course, that being here means that we had to go get that glove off Sora. That was required because we have to lift up a rock to be able to get back here.
Yeah, also had to get that book because you have to lift up a rock that requires mitts to use the back entrance. Not that we've seen the mirror yet, anyway.
Yep. Well, here we go into Misery Mire. That is a pendant.
We're also definitely not going into Mire itself. We don't have any of the
I was going to say, Mire Shed. Something's in here. There's the lamp. So it looks like, yeah, Linkalot's going to pick up the lamp, and Nep is just going to say, nope, I'm good. I know my dark rooms. I think maybe SirLinkalot just picking that up. Not because they don't know the dark rooms, but just because it's safer. It's safer if you have to go through some areas.
Yeah, it
Especially,
also could just be in case of a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight. You don't want to necessarily have to do that with the Fire Rod.
Ooh. And there's Bombos. So we need to get in the Turtle Rock, so King's Tomb required. And up to Death Mountain for SirLinkalot. That, meanwhile, is going to do Smith Chain, it looks like. Still looking for that ice rod. Would be also nice to have that second sword. But now, I'm sure both runners are tired of being on Fighter Sword. Hey! There we go. It's Vanilla Smith. And up to Desert Mountain here for Nep as well. So Linkalot first up to the mountain.
And let's see where SirLinkalot heads. Oh, this is gonna hurt. I think this is gonna hurt SirLinkalot. Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, you gotta have that second sword. Oh man. I wonder if that was just a moment of forgetfulness on. He didn't have that second one. But gonna try and still make the best of it and go ahead and complete Tower Repair, which, I guess that would be the wise decision at this point, really, with Rando. If you make a mistake or if you forget something, just keep going and try and route that location back in, as you go throughout, because there's going to be other opportunities. It's certainly not done for yet, but yeah, Nep picking up the mirror, that will be helpful.
Yeah, also heading into Hera. It's definitely very easy to forget that. Some of the requirements like that in planning out your route probably has a second sword somewhere along the way, of course, and just didn't think about it for right here.
And Nep setting up a bomb Hera pot here.
Let's get it right. That's the last bomb.
There we go. Yep. Meanwhile, SirLinkalot saying, hi, Moldorm, bye, Moldorm.
Yeah, but unfortunately, because of the item that is on that tablet is a particularly costly mistake, because SirLinkalot will have to go back up the mountain the long way. Cannot use the mountain or the mirror because that's what he'll need to get.
Now, where are they going here?
There's some blue mail not too far out of the way. Definitely won't say no to that. The blue mail appears to turn. I don't actually recognize the sprite that SirLinkalot is using. but that appears to have turned it mostly green, not really blue. Nip also grabbing a safety of sorts out of that location, but instead of going for the blue mail, goes for silvers out of Spike Cave. Looks like we're going to get a swamp play here out of Nip. Hopefully there's nothing important in the first chest past the small key door. Well, Nep is going to have a bomb problem. I think there's one in that room under a pot, though. Yeah, so SirLinkalot going to go ahead and make that climb now. Mirror may just be what we need right now.
Yes, indeed. Probably just going to go ahead and pick that up for safety's sake. We're seeing, I think we are seeing SirLinkalot pick up a few additional safeties here and there, which is not necessarily the worst thing to do in the world. Always worth reminding people that the Dark World does not care for Randomizer putting you into Dark World early. It will still hit as hard as it intends to hit later in the game if you're playing it normally. So you really do need to be aware here, especially in a spoiler log race where you're going to probably minimize the number of hearts that you're going to get if they're out of the way.
And getting the mirror now, this probably costs a solid minute and a half for the extra climb, but time to make it up in the rest of the seed. We'll probably won't have to make a mistake somewhere there.
Yep. SirLinkalot may be heading over to Ice Palace play. That could certainly be the case. Meanwhile, Nep's going through Swamp Palace here.
Yep, gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Doesn't have Chaos Maria or any bombs to do Diver Down.
Yep. But it is straight to the back. Making a turn to go to the Diver Down room now. Guess there's got to be something in here. Oh yeah, that's a worthwhile grab. Getting the third sword upgrade, Tempered's going to be really helpful. A lot better than having to do Master Sword Silverless Ganon if that's the way you're going to go.
Yeah. Also, SirLinkalot will be doing some older strats because no Chaos Maria for Diver Down at the moment.
Right, so if you're a fan of some old school Ice Palace... Oh, yeah, sorry to interrupt there. But if you're a fan of some old school Ice Palace, this is your night. You get to see this.
I mean, I like the bomb jump, mostly because it's the first real randomizer trick I learned. Just misses the setup in that room. It's okay, we'll get through there. It's really just the sword out of Swamp Palace, but that's still worth enough reason to go there. It looks to me like SirLinkalot is settling on the
Ooh.
right pixel. I'm not sure.
So, worth noting here, Nep went and picked up silvers. So, yeah, that's I think that would have been really the one thing that if Nep didn't have silvers and Linkalot did, that it would have been like, oh yeah, he'll definitely make up the time here. But that's it's not necessarily end of the world situation or anything like that for SirLinkalot. There's still plenty that can happen here in this race, but that was probably the one big easy pickup I think that would have brought back some time going through some of these later dungeons. That Nep is doing a really good job routing and being able to get all of these things in without having too many mistakes. So that's a huge benefit. We got a lot of digs here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're getting here.
Ooh.
The other mail upgrade.
Yep.
So that was the one safety that SirLinkalot had over Sailor Nep. I cannot imagine SirLinkalot will be doing that long digging for red mail.
No. For those who are keeping count at home, and even if you weren't, the spoiler log tells us that was 29 digs. That is almost a full 30. It's a long digging game for a mail upgrade there. But, yep, purple chest.
Just misses that spin a little early. Fortunately, did save some fire rod shots by using bombos.
This is an area where having that mail upgrade is going to be helpful, and also something that you just have to be really careful of because you're only doing this with the Master Sword. It's going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we find the ice rod out of that purple chest.
Ooh.
Nep. Ooh, down to 1 heart.
Half a heart. Yeah, I gotta be really careful here.
And gets it, but that's a fight. Nep's gonna have tempered for that. It's probably gonna be a lot faster.
Yep. And if Nep can get them all pinned in the corner with the tempered, then that's gonna be super nice. Oh, is there a? Oh, just picking up a bomb upgrade there. I was wondering what the decision there was. Ah,
That's
and that'll refill. Yeah, that's a good play.
Well, especially given the need to do a Ice Palace bomb jump, or else do the vanilla way.
Very smart play there from Nep. And where is SirLinkalot going? Obviously going to the Dark World.
Must be planning on picking up the purple chest now as well.
Maybe this is Smith chain that we saw earlier from Nep.
Well, already got the front part of that done to get the Master Sword. So this is probably just the purple chest to get the ice rod.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we have both the 5/6 crystals now. We're seeing that play early. We haven't found Samaria yet.
And looks like SirLinkalot going to be heading into the swamp.
Yeah, we know that we would. I think we would have seen the Samaria play by now if we know that
a little
it's
low on that bomb jump. Needs to get it. We'll need to get it this time, or won't have enough health to try again. Does get it here.
Okay, it's gonna go to Swamp Palace first before we check. Not the Pyramid Fairy. See if there's any goodies up there, and obviously, probably if there is something on Pyramid Fairy, we'll see Nep go there first. Just further along in the dungeon right now than SirLinkalot is in getting into Swamp Palace. We haven't seen anybody pick up Ether yet, so to me, I think if we're not looking for ether, then we're probably not going into Mire unless it's somewhere within one of these dungeons, and we just haven't seen it yet. We know it's not on the pedestal, obviously. We haven't really seen anyone go into pod for any reason, so safe to say if we're not seeing plays into some of these dungeons, that there's probably, you know, nothing there or anything that's good in there. Probably just a bunch of junk in some of those dungeons.
Yeah,
this
fire rod there.
Yeah, this Nep going to be able. Going to use the fire rod probably, and just get this all set up and pin him in the corner. Just going to use the fire rod instead, and then try and pin this last one in the corner. But this should go pretty quick with that tempered sword. Yeah, there it is. Nicely done.
Yeah, again, gaining a little bit of time on a boss fight versus SirLinkalot's fight in that case. Mostly because of doing Swamp first for the tempered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, yeah, if we're looking at, just to say, if we're looking at Pyramid as location for an item we need to get Samaria, or if Samaria itself is there, then we're pretty much in go mode. Because looking at Nep, that's the only thing other than Bombos that's missing. We know where that is, and it looks like Nep's going to head over to King's Tomb right now and grab that. So we'll be able to cross that off the list.
Yeah, and SirLinkalot going to go to tempered here.
Yep, can pick up an extra heart as well. That could be beneficial. And he does hit really hard.
I like grabbing that if it's that close to something else you're hitting.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Nep's going to Dark World. This may be the pyramid check. Going to this portal, probably maybe to get the red bomb and go from here, I guess, would be the play, because we've already seen Hype Cave. We've already seen Swamp. Unless there's some kind of check that we've missed. No, it's going to be, going to be big red bomb. So pyramid it is. And presumably, yeah, what's interesting here is presumably Linkalot is literally going to be able to pop out of this dungeon and go do this exact same thing, because he's right there, you know.
They're going to be behind still, but it's not that big a gap.
So we'll be relatively quickly both in go mode. Just Nep going to have the advantage with those silvers.
And also like a 40-second lead, 45 seconds, something like that.
It's 41-40 going in. Getting a piece of heart to get the heart refill. And there's the Canis Samaria. That is go mode for Sailor Nep at 41-46 on the timer.
He gave a bit of a run around to get there, but gets there in the end.
You're gonna go get some safeties. It's not a bad play at all.
It's gonna be a green potion, only 67 rupees in hand.
Good call. Good call on that.
SirLinkalot will not have that option, being right now on 2 rupees.
That's true.
Don't lose that bomb.
And roughly it's going to be about a minute difference here between the two of them.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent sized difference, but I've seen some big reversals in Turtle Rock, actually. Turtle Rock is not really balanced to be in there and own 6 hearts. It's gonna do things like have chain chomps hit you for 4. Yeah, since they have the tempered sword, the difference between silvers and silverless is a lot smaller than it would be on master. But it's still an advantage to Nap. Nice early big key. I see a question in chat about whether the runners are watching. I do not know for sure if they're watching at the moment. They are allowed to watch, which is a difference between this and normal randomizer. You'll even see some in chat from time to time. I did see SirLinkalot in chat earlier. But some runners actually find it a little too distracting to do because, they need to keep their concentration fully on the game. I know I myself fall in that camp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there is a death from Nep. So that is going to be a big chance for SirLinkalot, who got kind of clipped by the door there and has to mirror, but it's okay. Someone may know exactly what happened to Link. I am not that person. It's a nice dodge around that chain chomp on the right. And Nep steals a key. And she'll just be heading to the back of TR here. Doing the dark room here on Triple Rock. This one's
Mhm.
actually much easier than it looks.
Yeah,
You just have to memorize the directions to hold.
that's one of the nice things about the little ride here is that it'll just kind of travel in the first direction you press. Nep is going down. Where's Nep heading to grab some things? Oh, key, of course. And you're gonna head back out. Makes sense.
It still has a slight lead, just in terms of where they're at. Also, still has the silver's advantage, but needs to not make any further slip ups, I think.
Yep. This is one of those situations. Just don't give. If you're in the lead and you have an advantage like this, just don't give your opponent a chance to come back from it. Don't give them a chance to leave them in the game. Trying to set up the 0 cycle here, but not going to get it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the fourth sword, but we'll get a pretty quick kill here on the first part.
SirLinkalot actually could go for the 0 cycle. Does have butter,
Yes.
but not going to.
Nope.
I
Oh,
think the first
a
hit
little bit of a
thing.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was with the beam. I think I definitely saw that beam pop out and smack that firehead first. And very nicely done. So, Mercer, we have a game we like to play normally here. And I know I'm gonna see some numbers in chat, but hold up. Do not put your numbers in chat. Do not do that. Because we know where they're at. I want you to guess the location of where it's going to be in the GTB key, I mean. Not the number, but the location. And be as specific as you would like to be. Generally, we're not gonna accept answers that are like left side or right side because that's a lot of chess. But location, a certain location, vanilla, that's acceptable. Torch, certain room.
I'm going to think outside the box and guess that it's inside the big chest.
Really? We're really going there?
Well, I did actually see where it was, so it would be.
Well, we know where it is. The chat doesn't, so that's what we're trying to get them to have fun doing. And no, this is not key sanity. It's not outside of GT. It is within here. And indeed, the torch is not the location.
We can talk of a key sanity spoiler tournament at some point, but we're not really sure how long we'd have to give people to study that log.
Probably need another 20 minutes.
Ducking into Dark Magician Room just for a couple small keys.
So, not Stalfos room. Not Firebar room. Well, it's normally a little more fun because there's usually a number attached to it, between 1 and 22. And we're seeing the bomb come out, and we're seeing a dip in the random room to mirror. It's in here. It's in here somewhere. Has to be. You got the mirror out. So which chest is it going to be? Not bottom left. Top left in rando room. There we go. So there were two guesses that had it in rando room. So Luxo is first at just to say rando room, and Drus Nija, I think is how you pronounce it, said top right in rando room. So right kind of like row, but other column. So I think both of them definitely deserve a little bit of applause for getting the right room as being the two that guessed it. So congrats to both of you. And now we're seeing the run-up gauntlet here, and this is really where NEP silvers are going to come in handy here. Is taking care not only of the mimics, but just getting through some of these gauntlet rooms is going to be a little bit quicker with those silvers. Not to mention the huge time save on the Ganon fight. But conversely, there's no guarantees.
Yeah, Nep does also have a green potion. SirLinkalot, I believe, has no potion, so that is one more thing in Nep's favor.
Indeed. So yes, congrats to Luxo and Drew for guessing what the GTP big key is, and we are off and running here. All execution from here on out.
Yeah, they'll get the same Aga 2 patterns. So.
This is one of those rooms right here. Nep just went through the second Lamola's fire where those silvers coming in super handy here. SirLinkalot will have a little bit of a longer fight rather than the one shots, as Nep is now in the most satisfying room to game part 1.
And SirLinkalot misses on the fire rod shot's gonna use the sword to finish it.
Through most satisfying room in the game part 2 for Nep, and on to the torch room here just before we head upstairs.
If people are wanting to know where half magic was, do you want to tell them or shall I?
You can tell them. I've revealed a couple of things already. Go ahead.
Sure, it's in Ganon's Tower. They can go get it anytime they want it here. It's you just have to wait for these tiles to spawn.
Oh
And
yeah.
go away.
Yeah. That was the tile room prize, was the half magic. I do not think you'll see anybody want to wait it out for that. It's at this point in the race, not worth. Meanwhile, Nep now with the hookshot out and that full refill on to the second Moldorm fight. Just got to be careful here, not take a bonk off the ledge, and we're good to go.
Hey, Sankart. Yeah, may have grabbed that as well. I'm not sure. I just didn't notice it on your side. Kind of rude patterns here for Maga. Oh, this one's not too bad. And there's a triple from Nep as she takes down Aga 2 and just Ganon left in the way. SirLinkalot will have a fairly easy time getting one cycle phase 1 and 2 with Butter Sword. Into phase 4, Silver is Ganon's one true weakness, apparently.
Of course, we know where they're at. And
There's the fourth
looks
shot.
like, yep, Nep's about to finish it up here. Can have a sub-hour time. Moving to 4 and 1. Sailor Nep going to cross the Golden Bridge and put in an official SRL time of 1 hour 14 minutes and 2 seconds, minus the 15 minutes of study time. It comes out to a 59:02. Get those GGs in chat.
Very well done.
And Linkalot finishing up here. Will not actually be that far behind. So this will probably be a pretty good time as well. Just gotta be careful here.
Just going for doubles, it's like.
Nice safe strategy.
And there it is. It'll be a little over an hour, but still pretty good time.
Yeah, all things considered, this will be really nice. Didn't have the Silver, so obviously didn't have the quickest fight, but still doing a really good job. And SirLinkalot will punch in, moving to 3 and 2. Still a good record, but we'll have an official SRL time of 1 hour 15 minutes 12 seconds. That means an official race time, as you can see up there, of 1 hour and 12 seconds. So just about a minute behind. Very close race between these two. Getting those G's in chat for both our runners tonight.
Yeah, that was a really excellent race all around.
That's very fun. Really came down to some routing decision. I think for Nep, I think that Silver play turned out to be the wise decision. Really opened up the gap a little bit there in the end. Plus, just some general routing differences. Nep in chat saying, my real advantage was the palette shuffle. Well, I won't argue that one.
I will. I would like to argue with that one.
That's all right. I think we'll try and get both our esteemed runners in here. We'll get them for a little conversation post race. I believe we have Nep here, and SirLinkalot will be joining us in just a moment. But yeah, GG's, congrats.
Thanks, GG to Linkalot, and thanks for having me and putting on this wonderful race stream. I'm definitely glad that I was able to pull it back in spite of early in the seed. I just made a routing plan that made absolutely no sense. I went to Eastern Palace because I thought, okay, I can get the book, and then I can get the rest of the cash I need, and the first glove on Lammo, and then I realized as I was like fighting the Armos Knights, there's this moment of, that doesn't make sense, because Lammo kind of requires a glove. So that's why my early routing was so out there, as I just wasn't making sense.
That is fair. I mean, the glove and the fire source, I think, was also blocked behind the first glove, right?
Yeah, that too. So it pretty much doubled, did not make sense. I realized it, and I didn't go as far as actually running over the desert, but that's definitely what happened. Aside from that, a number of other things were just kind of me making some decisions on the fly. When I saw that Linkalot made that unfortunate trip up the mountain without getting the second sword first, I knew that had bought me a little bit of the time I needed, and so that's why I made some of the other moves I did, like getting the silvers and taking the slower path to the purple chest to get some safeties on the way, just in case. I was concerned about the possibility of burning my hold lead doing that, but it seemed like it would be okay, and it was a little close, but the silvers kept me ahead.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really would have hit you there was probably taking a death at some point along the way, after the relatively early one in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that was just a slip. But I made up for it by having a really, really smooth GT, so I got to be pleased about that at least.
Yeah, it was really well done along the way. That Aga, too, was a little rude until you got the triple at the end.
Yeah, those Aga patterns, I did not like them at all. The main thing that I was a little sad about was the fact that I slipped and missed the 1+1 against Ganon, and then I failed to count during phase 2, so I got an extra cycle on top of that. If that had been enough to lose me the race, that definitely would have been kind of sad, but still, my execution errors were all relatively minor aside from the Poke Death. You know, there were a couple Ice Palace bomb jump failures. I blame Icebreaker for that. It's like I don't practice the bomb jump anymore. And so I'm just winging it every time these days.
Yeah, I have been noticing that on the few seeds where you're forced to go the old-fashioned way. But a lot of runners are kind of showing the rust on that bomb jump. But yeah, any other general thoughts on the seed or any routing choices that you made just because of that early reroute? I know rerouting on the fly can be a little precarious.
That's a good question. I definitely had to wing for the money because there were 300 rupees in Desert Palace, and I incorrectly planned on getting those. So I had to very quickly figure out, hey, where am I going to get the rest of this money I need? And that's kind of what happened there. After that, I felt good about the routing, but that early hiccup, that was pretty scary. And then one final thought about the seed. The boots being in the map chest with nothing else in escape. This is the second seed in the spoiler tournament where I've had that exact scenario. So that was kind of interesting.
It does mean you don't need any weapons to get there, which is kind of nice. Although in this case, they gave you the hammer anyway.
Yeah. So I think I'll go ahead and bow out here so SirLinkalot can get a word in edgewise, but I do want to wish him luck in his remaining races in Swiss rounds, and I hope to see him win out from here.
Yeah, good luck to you going forward as well. In pretty good position to make our top 8 playoffs here.
Thanks. I'm going to try, so we'll see. But either way, I've had a lot of fun. This is a neat format to do once in a while.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So I guess SirLinkalot, still in the tournament, still have a shot here at 3-2. How you feeling after this run? And was there anything that you thought maybe it was something that could have gone better or didn't quite go as well as you'd hoped?
Outside of Cold Star Fight, because for whatever reason my Cold Star Fights have been garbage recently. I just, for whatever reason, can't get the spin when they're all together and get them in the corner. I don't know why. Outside of that, the only big mistake I felt I made was going up Death Mount, not even thinking about the fact I still need a Master Sword to pull the mirror off of the tablet. And as soon as I did that, like I didn't even have the restream up at all yet, because I usually don't pull the restream up until I'm in like dungeon go mode, where I don't have to worry about getting items from Overworld anymore. And so I figured it's like, okay, I made a critical routing error at this point, especially having to climb all the way up Death Mountains. And with the tablets, like it's one thing if you have the mirror, but when you have to go literally all the way around for the mirror, I figured like I'm probably behind at this point, because I know Nep's execution is better than mine. So I knew I had to make a more ideal route and probably hope for a mistake or two on Nep's side and make almost none myself. And yeah, that kind of, I know that probably cost me about the difference, if not a little bit more than the difference of what happened.
I think that's pretty. I think it's a pretty solid, solid little analysis of what happened there. And it's something that happens to the best of us. I mean, it's like it's easy, especially in these spoiler log seeds. You've probably got everything written out, and it's just something where you're kind of like you're just thinking ahead. Okay, I got to do here, and then it's real easy for even the best runners to miss something and then realize it too late and be like, oh, now I got to go back and do all this again. So that's kind of the tricky part about these spoiler races, is that you really feel like a mistake if you write down the wrong dungeon or something like that. It can really chew your time up, because there's less exploring and playing around, and more just kind of execution, straight go.
Yeah, and the main thing is because it's like I still use a map tracker, not so much because I need it, but it's just like when I click an item, I see it's like, okay, here's all the things that open up, so I can do sphere tracking more than just optimal routing. And I'm used to seeing that, and it's just like I don't even think about the fact that I need 2 swords for the tablet. It's just like, okay, cool, the tablets are lit up, I can go do these now, and didn't even think about the fact when I was going through my route. The funny thing was, like, when I grabbed, because I believe I grabbed Bomble. Yeah, I grabbed Bombles before fluting up to the mountain. It was like in the back of my mind, it's like, you could probably just go grab the sword now. It's not, you're going to need to grab it anyways, and there's really not much of a better time to do it, other than when you're planning on doing it. And I'm just like, nah, we don't need a sword for Death Mountain. It's fine. All I have to do up there is, the worst thing I have to do up there is kill Moldorm, and I have a hammer for that, so.
Yeah. Well, you still got some shots here. We got a couple more weeks to go, so you're looking forward to the next couple of weeks to see how you can do.
Yeah, definitely. Regardless of whether or not I make brackets, I'm not sure how many 5 and 2s are making brackets. I know it's based on schedule strength, so we'll see how that all works out. But I'm gonna try to give my best shot and at least put myself in an opportunity to maybe make brackets still.
Yeah, as someone who's been in that situation before as well, I know you'll be cheering on Nep going forward here to really boost that that strength of schedule up a little bit for you too.
Yeah, and not just that, because it's just like Nep, myself, Dante, and Relkin, we're usually talking to a bunch of non-tournament stuff, and we've kind of been joking the fact that like the very first week we all went to and we all lost, and then every week after that we just kept winning. We're just like, okay, when are we finally going to meet each other? We're like, it's probably going to happen this week, and then we see the matchups come up. It's like me and Nep. It's like, yep, it finally happened. So, yeah, regardless of whether I'm hoping Nep to win out, because that helps strength of schedule. It's like I'd still be cheering Nep on regardless.
Yeah, everyone in the community really is got a lot of friends, a lot of good people here. So always fun to see that. But yeah, thanks so much for letting us get to peer in and take a look at your races tonight. So good luck going forward for both you and Nep.
Thank you.
And this kind of was our last restreamed race of the evening, but more Week 5 action starting tomorrow on SpeedGaming 2 through 6. Those of you watching, you just saw how good a show SirLinkalot and SailorNet put on. Go follow both of them. Also, shout outs to our tracker for this evening, Yoinker's Wife, as well as my co-commentator today, Neon Tiger. It's been a lot of fun Any last words to close us out for the night?
Nope, just wanted to say thank you, Mercer. And of course, as always, remember someone out there loves you and will love you too. Take care of yourselves, everybody.